And as you get dematerialized and now materialized, as you've traveled through this light portal onto this landing platform where all spirits go when they pass over, I want you to look around at this place and describe to me, what is it that you see?
Such stillness, a huge amount of stillness, a huge amount of stillness.
Yeah.
And think of it like lanterns, and all the lanterns are hovering. These are the millions and billions of lights and light keepers.
Do you want to just wait 1 second while I just grab some water? Sorry. Sorry about that coughing. So all about you are these beautiful lights like lanterns.
And I see a beautiful dove, a white dove. An albatross, actually. You know, an albatross has massive wingspan,
Yeah.
yet it has the face of a dove or a pigeon, which is about peace. But they're giving me the wingspan and the massive bird that an albatross is.
Mm.
And they're showing me that this is symbolic of, if you were to take out every single feather, and every single feather, as we know, already has hundreds, thousands of tiny little feathers to make one feather. And the song that's coming into this space of peace, quiet, is Give Peace a Chance.
Mm.
The late John Lennon says that he knew that peace is imminent. It's happening now, not it is going to happen. And this albatross is just hovering, flying in the most beautiful, peaceful space with this massive wingspan. Change is now. There is these destructive patterns within the grids, within the hierarchy of these different platforms. And within these different platforms, they're saying, think of it like how you have taken me out into this space, this beautiful, peaceful space where spirit, the words they're giving me are resolve. They find resolve, Jill.
Mm.
Peace, calm. And as we are finding our own space of peace and calm within us, our time is now to let go, forgive. We have been under attack for many, 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 many years. They're showing it to me like a parasite, a bug that gets into a space that's infected. And we may not know initially that it's infected or going to become infected. And this bug just gets deeper and deeper, and before we know it, it festers. This is what has been happening for us as humans for a long time. And again, I'm seeing this albatross. Peace is now. Change is now. We've all gotten so caught up in the dark side of life. We forgot what it was to be human. Yet, in the forgetting, the most important currency is for us to be at peace. When we feel at peace inside of our souls, inside of ourselves. And they're saying, notice how I almost can't get my words, like I can't say selves. You know how we say yourself and yourselves. They're saying they're over-exaggerating this moment, as so many of us can't find our self, have got no understanding about ourselves and how all our cells are communicating. All these antennas that we have, these trillions of antennas, are all sourceful energy. Yet we have been in the Maya, we have been in the dark for a long time. And now we're coming out in this new year, this new way of being. Yet they say it's important. They want to speak our language, new year. 2024 has long come and gone, even though we think we've just landed into this new year. And they're showing me men of armor. Like, you know, those big armors, those that they wore many years ago, where they had the helmet and they had the full body was in a full suit, and you couldn't really walk in those suits. So they're showing me that. And they're showing me the static way of being is where we're shifting and 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 shifting, and the creation of this energetic pattern within the grids. And they're saying they can't even move my hand quick enough to get myself and yourself and others that are watching this to show how quick the timelines are shifting for us. They're saying, listen, shifting for the number 4, us. That is so beautiful. We are in a huge amount of change.
Well, they call it the shift.
It's one of the expressions. We've called it many different things. And they're saying that as we've called it many different things, they've called it, we've called it. And they're saying, listen to even the pun in the calling. Bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, great.
What are we calling in? You and I have had a long, lengthy discussion. They're saying they hung out, were waiting for me. And they're saying that this is part of the letting go. And as we let go, we show up in the present moment. As when you and I hang out together, time is not relevant, is it?
Yes, our husbands think it is, but we don't.
Yet this is the new way of being. And they're showing me a flag that was planted on the moon. Yet they're saying that just bear with them as they're going to describe things now. But the flag is, you know, when a flag's been in the wind a long time and it becomes frazzled or frayed on the ends? This is the flag that's up on the moon. And who planted? the flag? Which country really planted the flag on the moon? There's been a few discrepancies, there's been a few ownerships that perhaps aren't the right or the correct ownerships. And they're saying it doesn't matter actually, because the frayed flag of the one that we are all thinking about is exactly that. The countries that have been dominating warfare since the 1940s is in for a massive shift, is in for massive change. And the number 4 this year is incredibly important for us to speak, feel, hear, see, know truth. It's all in here.
Mm.
Truth is who we are. Truth is within our spirit form. They're saying, are we getting it?
Mm.
So the powers that be that have run lightning bolts through us, as they have, every time we have got into a space of shock, surprise, there's been a lightning bolt that sends us on a different path. They're saying, think of it like that. Are we standing up and becoming lightning? Lightning. We are becoming lighter in the versions of ourselves. And as the teams that know the teams, that know the teams, that know the teams of the millions of spirits that are out there, they say many of us have awakened, and we are now knowing our constitutional rights. And it's as simple as you leading me up to that platform, through the doors. We have our own constitution inside of us, don't we?
Yeah, that's why they talk about somebody having a poor constitution or a good constitution.
Correct. And now we are aligning, more of us are aligning into an upliftment, because we define ourselves by good and bad, black and white. And the logic of who we have been for such a long time has not worked for us ever. Scientists become observational, do they not?
Yeah, well, I suppose they have to be observers when they run experiments to see the
Correct.
results. Mm.
Correct. So they wait. They feed the rats or they feed the mice, and then they wait. They observe. They wait for the results. It as the teams that exist out in the field of all that is, there is no waiting. There only is. And they're saying this is an important life transformation. What are we wanting right now in this moment of transformation? 4 once again. Are we standing up for each other? Are we standing up for one another? Are we standing up for humanity? They're asking if they can go on. Do we want them to go on?
If they would like to, I'm quite happy.
They're saying that you have questions, Jill.
Yeah, I've always got lots of questions. One of the things that I was thinking about is there are a lot of people protesting about what's been going on. And I think then when you talked about peace, and if everything affects everybody in the field, of this big energetic field, then we who are not in direct conflict with what's going on, would it not serve those that are in direct contact with it if we were still, if we flew kites, if we baked bread, if we loved our family and our friends, and having that stillness in the field and sent them love, would that perhaps be better than going down rabbit holes and protesting? I sometimes wonder what would be the best.
Well, our energies are vastly spread, are they not?
Mm.
And you are not the single cell of the human that you are sitting here right now, and neither is this one. We are vastly spread amongst planets, amongst beings, and yet we still have a disbelief in humanity. So when humans talk about the uprising, what does the uprising look like to all of you? Are you rising up in screaming and shouting, or are you rising up in silence? When one rises up in silence, one holds we are going quiet.
Mm.
It is an important moment in this download, in this session, in this connection, in this moment in time to say, look within. You've been looking without and on the outside, on the peripheral for a very long time. So yes, to answer your question, Joel, it is part of the change within the four that there are defragmented places. And what do we mean by this is those defragmented places, the ones that are already energetically aligning. So they're showing me how to bring a visual to those who are wondering where they're going with this. And when you watch something that's pixelated, or if you and I are on the camera on Zoom, and it might freeze, and then you see me in a freeze shot, or I see you in a freeze shot, and it stops, and then we wait a few seconds, and then we come back. They're saying, do we have the picture?
Yes.
Okay. So they're saying that this is part of when there is a freeze frame, this is where the silence is golden. We have not learned to be silent. It's all in the reverberation of the energetic formation that has been recreated for us as human beings. Yet we still think with our heads. And we think that by fighting, protesting, warring, screaming, shouting, telling others exactly what's right, what's wrong, this is my land, this is my space, this is what belongs to me, power to the people, do you humans not have this, power to the people, power to the people? Or for what we see for humanity, Power to the people is open, like the albatross flying, with massive expansion. And when humans feel expansive in themselves, they can be wherever they need to be. You've often heard of power in prayer, have you not?
Mm.
And there is power in prayer. Yet it is thinking like you are threading a small piece of cotton through the finest, tiniest eye of a needle. You may miss a few spots, and then you may, for those of you who have to wear glasses, put on glasses. Some of you may need a magnifying glass. But this is the zoning, this is the honing in energetically to create difference. Many of you are still learning this. Many of you have learned this. And there is an honoring. When one is honored, one is seen, are they not?
That's right.
So there is an honoring that is happening for humanity. Yet humans like to be vocal, too vocal for what we see. Humans like to tell other humans exactly what is right and wrong. As you are aware, Michelle was discussing with you how she was noticeably uncomfortable in the illusion of masculine energy not embracing her. Do you see how we said this?
Mm-hmm.
And she became vocal in that moment. Yet she lost herself. She knows this. And yet there is a moment of glee that happens when humans think they are power to the people. Yet, have you noticed, very few protesters stand in circles. Very few protesters hold hands. Very few protesters set up the intention of what it is that they are creating from a peaceful space. How many times, Jill, has America, Colombia, India, South America, Africa, how many times have protesters gone out peacefully, yet have been a threat?
A few times.
Many times. We are even showing Michelle right now, going back to the slavery. There's been this unconscious division for color. Color has never, ever, ever, ever affected any of us as a spirit team. You humans talk about us all the time. We come through many different humans. Yet, not once have we, as the teams that we are, despise one another. We show up for each other in the way that is important for the messages to be delivered like this one. So we thank you, Jill, for listening once again.
Pleasure. Thanks
Yet
for coming.
we thank you. Yet you humans are forgetting your colors. You are forgetting your frequency. And think of it like this. You are all in the race. You are all in the race. Please allow your words to not define who you are. Please allow your colorings of your skin to not define who you are. You started off with opening up Michelle's heart and becoming expansive, did you not?
Correct.
This is where humans are learning. When one comes from a heart space, one does not see color, culture, creed, religion. One only sees. You understand, Jill?
Mm.
One only sees. You humans have a saying, the eyes are the window to the soul. So for those who are blind, for those who are maimed, for those who have lost a limb, for those who are deaf, their senses are heightened in different ways. Their vibration is different. Other mammals within the ocean have different vibrational tones, do they not?
They do.
So there's always connection in all ways. And there is power in silence and prayer.
Beautiful. I know, I was just being shown the image when you were talking about that of little children on a beach, playing with anybody and everybody, not judging, just living in the joy in the moment.
It
And
is fact.
yeah,
Please go ahead. It is fact.
it's so sad that people then grow up and separate themselves one from another.
This is due to how you have been told, how you have been shown. And you are correct in that visual. Children will say, this is my brown friend. This is my white friend. This is my yellow friend. They do not see it in any other way until a parent decides for them differently. Children are the purest of the pure. And then you humans would taint what the purest of the pure is. There is rapid transformation happening as many of you have decided that enough is enough. No more fighting, no more hurting, no more discriminating. Only seeing one another for who and whom you are in that moment. Have you and Michelle not come a long way in your friendship?
Oh, leaps and bounds.
Correct. There was judgment from all different sides, all different avenues, all different points. And it takes the brave of the brave to work through. Think of it as a earthworm who is blinded in the darkness. Yet it senses its way through the soil, does it not?
Mm.
So this is how humans are refinding in the space of love, refinding in the space of love, refinding in the space of love. Yet it takes brave conversations. It takes brave listening. It takes brave hearing. It takes brave deciphering. It takes brave courage. We think we are getting our point across, do we not?
Yeah, so in 2024, what is it that humanity can do, not only for themselves, but for others, that's going to make the most difference?
Think of it as closing your eyes and resting as we are coming directly through Michelle right now. It's exactly that. Taking a pause, taking a rest, Stop being in these wormholes where you have pipes that are sucking you dry. Some of you can't get into the pipe, yet some of you continuously force yourselves to go down the pipe, to go down the wormholes. And as you are all relearning to navigate your true north compass, your true north star, your true way of being, this is what we see for humanity. And we feel as if we're not answering your question correctly right now. Please ask it in a different way, Jill.
Well, what I'm really wanting to do is give humanity some hope. So many people are feeling heavy, and the start of a new year is about excitement, hope, and change. So I was hoping that you could share something with us to give humanity hope for the future and specifically for this year.
We think we have already, hence we asked you to ask the question again. And for those who listen, will hear that there is power in the 4. Yet the power is not in the number 4. This is a distraction, is it not?
Right.
Yet when there is power, if we were to say there is power, there is power, there is power, where is the visceral sensation in your body, Jill?
I felt it in my chest.
Correct. And was it a pushing or was it a pulling?
No, it was like an expansion for me.
Correct. Yet when one feels pushed, as Michelle did yesterday, or when one feels pulled, as Michelle felt yesterday, there is a contraction that happens. There's not an expansion that happens. When one is in their true light of being, yet this one is incredibly open, so she feels the expansion of every energy that is around. You too. You sometimes, as she does, you lose your way in the contraction expansion game, do you not?
It's 100% correct.
So when one is feeling as if they are
Push,
push,
pulled.
pulled, push, pulled, pulled, pushed, pulled, pushed, there is a unique law that creates. And in this unique law of creation is a wonderful pearl that has been made. And when one harbors the pearl of wisdom, there is a wonderful space in where you feel safe or you don't. So to give the world hope, to give humanity hope in this message, we ask of any of you, where are you feeling the expansion? Where are you feeling the safety of your soul? Your soul has been designed in ways that are beyond the universal laws. It is unique to each and every single human being. And there are billions of you, are there not?
Trillions.
Correct. As you are in a space of expansion, there is no unsafety. There is no fear, as you humans would call it. When one is in a space of tweaking, unsure, you are navigating, yet you are still seeking to create the expansion. Think of it as growing bamboo. Bamboo, as we see it and as you humans see it, is a beautiful bush, is it not? or a hedge.
Grows so quickly.
Correct. And it grows in water.
Mm.
And yet, it is tough, is it not?
Yes.
Strong. This is what you are all relearning. Bamboo grows quickly. You humans are going through a rapid transformation. Many of you have what you would say to one another, woken up. Are you awakened? Are you awakened? Are you awakened? They're not awakened, they're not awakened, they're not awakened. Yet many are becoming more expansive in their courage of self. And as you are feeling the courage to speak up, as you are feeling the courage of owning your worth, you and Michelle spoke about this for a long time, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
And yet your question to each other still was, what is it with us? Why can we see this in others, yet we cannot see this in ourselves? You
Because
humans
it's too close to home.
are correct. So then you are in a contracted space. Yet when one is expansive, you only see the pearls of wisdom that has multitude of colors as you turn the pearl. And yet the pearl is hard, is it not?
Yes.
Correct. So we say to you, own your worth. When one plays small, it is easy to be small. It is easy to charge one gold coin. And again, we refer to how this has been going on within one century to the next century, 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 to the next century. Yet this century is where there is an expansion within Venus. There is an expansion within Pluto. There is an expansion within Mars. There is an expansion within all the planetary alignments. And as the expansion is being created out there, the expansion is being created in here. You are well aware that you were born for this. Many of you have been gifted many gifts to help humanity, to give hope, to raise the vibration, to bring in or channel source frequency. Hence, we see that it is not about gifting hope. It is about gifting expansion, Jill. And when one is in an expansive space, one sees others in the same expansion. And one sees another one's worth. Or one sees another one's worth. Do you see how we did that?
Yes.
One sees another one's worth. Or you point at each other, you point fingers. We are not here to point fingers, we are here to share that this is a time of change. The change is now, in this very moment. For those who feel the expansion in this message, they are here for the change. For those who are feeling the quivering of humanity, they too are feeling the change. For those who are leaving to the different platforms, they too are here for the change. Do you see?
Yeah.
Same, yet different.
Yeah.
Yet humans attach. Humans become attached to what is meant to be. What do we want? How do we want it? How do we see it? Why have they left? Why have they been a part of that? Why are they a part of the devastation? Well, the devastation of the warlords, they would not be warlords if they did not bring devastation, correct?
Yeah.
And yet, how many worship a lord? How many worship a king? How many worship a queen? How many worship a princess, a prince? How many live their lives through those people? Many. And we say now it is time to break free from the old paradigms of what once was into the new gear of this wonderful matrix of enlightenment.
Awesome. That is so cool.
We think so too.
When we started, we took you to the landing platform and you saw all those lanterns of light. What happens to them when they get to those landing platforms?
They expand. Are you meaning when they leave their physical body?
Yes. So there are so many people that have been passing away lately, and I know that there are many who are listening who have had loved ones depart. And I just wanted to give them some stillness in their hearts so that they understand the process of what happens when they become disembodied and return back to the fullness of their soul.
They leave to a way station, to a platform,
Mm-hmm.
and they are held there by whichever being, whichever human, whichever God you have connected with. We talk of source. You humans talk of many different types of sources. Yet there is a way station. And they hang out. And then the rest of their soul family connect with them.
Mm-hmm.
They are never lonely. We feel it is important to let humans know, even for those who are choosing to leave the planet due to the density of the vibrational pull that they feel. What we mean is the ones that are taking their lives, the ones whose lives have been taken. They too are led to this platform, this way station, and they meet many different beings. And it is as if right now, visually, we are not even able to share with you how big your souls are, Jill. They are massive. Light years away, massive. Think of a collection of stars, a constellation of stars. This is how your soul is. So we say to those that have lost loved ones that it is not about where they go. It's about the recollection of how they are navigated into. Does this make sense?
No, just explain a little bit more, in a little bit more depth.
We thought so. So think of it as Michelle lying here right now. And if her heart was to have the last beat, there is an essence which leaves in the particles. You may or may not right now see the dust that is here on this couch, or that is the particles around. And this essence drifts. Have you seen jellyfish before, Jill?
Yes.
And how they leave, or they contract and expand, and how they swim in the ocean. And we say how they leave the space that they're in. Yet there are tentacles. This is what happens. These tentacles are left behind for other humans energetically to connect into their grief. For the space of this soul, this essence, to be retrieved on the other side. Where is the other side, you may ask? We too do not know where the other side is. It is so vast. The universe is massive. If we were to say to you that they are all being held, what is the visual picture that you see right now, Jill?
Sort of like a comforting place.
Correct. And does it have a holding space specifically?
Well, I think some do and some don't. That's just in my understanding. That
Correct.
each being goes to where they need to go to and
Yes.
experience what their particular belief system is.
So think of it as those 7 doors. The 7 doors, that is a vortex where you go through. One door is bigger than the next and the next and the next and the next. And you spoke about the mirror reflection of Michelle. And each soul has had life lessons to learn, has it not?
They do.
So again, like the tentacles of the jellyfish, each tentacle has a different vibration. They may swim together, yet each part of the jellyfish is a different vibration. Hence, you, Michelle, are different vibrations, different frequencies, different colors on the spectrum. So each soul heads to a different platform, to a different space, to a different way of being. And then there is resolution, or there is a space in which there is a connection or a lack of connection. And the soul's learning is then deciphered as to which platform, which door it has gone through. And we are giving the observation of the doors as if one is a soul that has a lot to learn, they come back. And then they go through the second door and they come back. And they go through the third door and they come back. And they go through the fourth door and they come back. And each time the soul collects data, information for the growth of this human. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And as you then retrieve the soul, as you are well aware, it's called soul retrieval, is it not?
That's right.
And as you retrieve the soul, we retrieve the soul. The soul comes back into an existence of what once was, or what once is. We talk about the what once was, yet it is the same in the vocabulary of who you are, of the what once is. It is no different to where we are, yet we have said this many times. Your human language limits you humans. Again, it is in the expansion. So by the time the soul has been through the 7th door, there has been an unlocking and unlocking and unlocking and unlocking and unlocking and unlocking. 7 is a powerful number, is it not?
That's correct.
And in the unlocking of this 7th door, once the soul has retrieved, once the soul has grown, once the soul has expanded in all of the vastness of itself, it goes through the 7th door and then it lands on the platform of eternity, Jill. Where is eternity? Once again we say, we have no idea.
So does it only land in eternity as such when it's experienced all that it can experience, or does it never stop experiencing?
It does stop experiencing. Once it's in the vastness of eternity, it has learned all the humanly possible dense emotions, yet uplifting emotions, in order to reach the state of bliss. So if we were to come through and talk to you like this, do you think that there would be many people who would want to listen to this vibration for 1 hour? We do not think so. So think of it and in that vibrational tone. When humans are in the learning process, there is contraction as a jellyfish contracts, yet as it expands, it opens up. And then it contracts, and then it expands. This is how the soul's evolutionary process is within the learning. There are many different phases. So we talk about the 7 doors, yet the 7 doors may be 7,000 lifetimes, Jill. Maybe 700,000 lifetimes.
But then are we talking only about human lives? What about the other lives in different
Forms.
in different forms and different platforms and universes, and for as part of that soul that has decided only to come on the human form, but they're going to all the other places as well?
Well, a soul hops from planet to planet to retrieve the information.
Yes.
And most times it is only telepathic, unless it becomes in human form. When it comes into human form, it has a huge amount of growth. You did not expect that, did you?
No, I certainly didn't.
You humans have been taught that when the soul lands here, that it is a lot to learn, yet it has already a huge amount of growth. We think there is a book in the making here, Jill.
So if your soul, I always think of it as a soul being like an orange, and one segment of the orange is a Michelle. So all the other segments of Michelle's soul are all over experiencing different experiences in different dimensions, different planets, etc. Do they ever all come back at the same time into that soul, or are they always just one part of the soul just dipping its toe into different areas?
They do find a reconnection as the evolutionary process is happening for that soul. Once the soul has reconnected and collected, as you say, it is then in its expansive space. Not expansive form, expansive space.
Mm-hmm.
So when it is in a space of expansion, there is no more contraction, there is no more life lessons, there is no more needing to be in a different form. Do you hear how we said that?
There's no need.
There is no need to be in a different form. The soul has learned everything that it has come to learn, desired, wanted, hoped, wished. We could give you many different English words. Yet the soul's evolutionary process is a massive space of expansion. So we'll give you an example, as we feel that it is an important time to share an example. The previous timelines that you have existed on, you yourself, Jill, how many would you imagine that to be, based on all the amount of sessions that you have done?
I have no idea.
Correct. Do you see how simple it is? So you, as a soul, have a learning process, and you are wanting an idea, and ideas are part of the human race, are they not? Unless you visualize something, then you are able to create it, as Albert Einstein once did. So there are codes. A soul is encoded with different lifetimes. You mentioned, Michelle, being a segment of a fruit. So think of it like this. When you open up an orange segment, there are more little segments inside, are there not?
Yes.
And if you were to pop each one in your mouth, they would all have a bit of juice in it, would they not?
If it's a good orange.
Correct. Yet, how many times do humans actually open up the slither of that segment and look to see how many different segments are inside of there? that specific segment.
Very rarely, I would imagine.
Correct. So where are we going with this? There are so many segments to a soul's alignment, Jill.
Yeah.
There are so many segments and juicy parts to a soul. Yet when a soul is in its expansive self, it has no form. It has no choosing. It does not make choices. Once the ascension process has happened, the soul is in alignment with Source. Has this explained it?
Yeah. Does that take a long time?
Very much so, yes. Many of you talk about an old soul, a young soul. Again, it is dependent on the doors that it has come through, the doors of wisdom, what is needed to learn. So for those souls that have passed over in the wars, they have much to learn. The young souls being the children, the old souls being the adults, or the young souls being the adults, or the old souls being the children. Who knows? We may say to you that actually the children were the wiser ones. They were the old souls. As they are the ones that the other humans who are alive and well are talking about, are they not?
They are.
Correct. As humans feel more for children and older people than they do for people your and Michelle's age. They feel, yet they do not feel. Do you hear the difference in the expression?
And I often think about that, and I just think, wow, those adults were little children once as well.
Correct.
Why don't we give equal empathy to all?
This is the learning for humanity, Jill. This is what we were sharing earlier on. As people are in the expansion of their self, there is no more contraction. So it's easy as Michelle is lying here in her expanded self as a human being who is now relaxed on the couch, even though you can hear her voice, even though you know that we are talking through her, her hands are moving. There's the expansion and the pause. Does this make sense to you, Jill?
Yes, I think that that's where the creativity lives, within the stillness, within the pauses.
Correct. And even as we are coming through this being of light right now, she is able to see vastly out there into the expansiveness. Think of it as the eye. And this is what we are showing her right now. And the eye has the pupil in the middle, and then different colors around the eye. The sclera, there is so many ways in which the eye magnetizes and magnetizes and magnetizes. So do you see how we are showing you even in the indifference of contraction or expansion? There is always a magnetic field that is playing out within each of the soul's connectivity. So contraction or expansion. How do you interpret the information?
So it's basically, what is it that you choose in any given moment? You can decide to contract over a situation or expand over a situation.
Yes.
It's how it makes you feel.
Correct. As human beings,
Yes.
as we do not feel, we see, we know, we 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 we
So you just vibrate, you be.
Correct. You got it, Jill.
Okay. So it's time for us to be.
Correct. We thank you for being. We thank you for noticing. We thank you for feeling. We thank you for interpreting. We thank you for intentionalizing. We thank you for showing. We thank you, one. We thank you all for the change of becoming.
Becoming.
Correct.
Yep. Okay. So what is it that they wish to become? So to be, and then it'll come.
Within the choices of your
Yes.
everyday mental, physical, emotional, physical, mental, emotional, mental, physical. Do you see?
Yes.
It's all in the interconnectivity,
And to get a balance between them.
for sure. This
Awesome.
is where humans are finding more balance in the four.
So bring back the balance.
Bring back the balance into your equilibrium of your magnitude of yourself. Stop thinking out there and being more within. Output, 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 output. As Michelle had an output yesterday, did she not? She had an outburst. And she was proud of her outburst. Yet the outburst will bring rapid change. Interesting, is it not?
It is. It is. It's just like one big game.
Exactly. And when you play well, when you play in fun, when you play as children play, there will be no color, no creed, no difference in the indifferences. You will only see what you see, which is the heart formation. Thank you for the clarity today, Jill.
So just come from the light and be the light.
Mm-hmm.
And say, I am the light.
I am the way, the truth, and the light.
Yes. And then when you choose that, then it's a choice you've made. And then you start gravitating to that in the field of the lightness of the being instead of being dragged down those rabbit
Correct.
holes. Awesome. Is there anything you want to leave us with before we wrap this up?
We thank you. We are the all-seer. We are the all-encompassing. We are the navigation of the true light within you. We thank you.
Thank you so much. And in a moment, Michelle, you can come back and yawn and stretch and move those little brown eyes of yours.
That felt delicious.
Delicious.
Delicious. Oh, goodness.
Yeah,
How
so
was that for you,
basically,
Julie?
no, I thought it was great. It's all about expansion,
Mm.
really, and it's what you choose. Do you want to accelerate or not? Are you putting your foot on the petrol and going ahead, or have you put the handbrake on?
So
And
true, hey?
and if we think beautiful thoughts, that's going to go out into the field. I think what I've learned from this session is that if we unite together, even if we do a beautiful meditation, and all we do is set an intention for peace and light and love in a certain area, that'll do much more than ever protesting. It's got a stronger effect because we
Of
forget how
course it
amazing we
does.
are.
Of course it does. And can I share an experience just based on what we're discussing? And just realizing that everything is vibration. I'm just in a session, boy. You know that The other day, last week, gosh, New Year's Day was, I'm so lost for days, but it was like 2 days before New Year's Eve. And there was blue bottles on the beach. Millions. I have never seen so many. They were tiny little babies with bigger ones, and like, whoa, like there was nobody swimming in the ocean. And in my head, I thought, "Ah, I'll come back later, like I'm on break right now. And Brent said, no, Bun, we're going in. I said, okay. And I literally stood and I put my hand, I think I put my hands on my heart. And I stood towards the ocean and I said, okay, we're all vibration. I'm coming into your ocean and I would really appreciate it if you just give me space. Because if any of you have been stung, have you been stung by a blue bottle
Oh,
jelly?
so
It's
painful.
sore, man. Like
Yeah.
some it's sore. And it was fascinating because I went in with a childlike expression, like I could hear myself gleeing, but also kind of like, leave me alone, And I still remember thinking, I'm going to be like Moses and I'm just going to part the sea. Like that was how I felt. That was the intention that I was setting. And both Brent and I, not one of us got stung.
You see.
And but it was beautiful because for me it was again kind of asking them for permission to go into their ocean because it's their ocean, you know. And it really was just the space of being calm. And I thought, okay, I can come back later, but what am I going to miss? And that for me is the purity of just having that calm, quiet moment, as opposed to going, oh my God, like most people, like, oh my God, these blue bottles, like, what are they doing here? Well, it's their ocean, people. That's where they exist.
Well,
That's where
it's
they live.
our ocean, but it's their home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I saw them as beautiful Palladians. Like I was like, oh my gosh, you all beings, you all beautiful beings. Thank you for showing. Like I was grateful to have them. I was grateful to have that experience. And I did. I went in with this absolute play-like space of, and I could hear myself getting all happy in the ocean. And I came out and I said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for giving me that experience, So I think, and we've said this before, I think if we have more of that, as opposed to having more of the, oh, we've got this, and what the hell, what's happening to our life, what's happening to humanity. And I know, again, I'm not here to judge, because when we're in it, you and I were talking about my brother earlier on and living in Israel, and we're not in that energy, we're not in that vibration. So it's easy to sit when we're out of it and to be calm, but when you're in it, you feel the vibration, you feel the intensity. Like I felt the gleenness of, I've had the experience of being stung by a blue bottle, but this time it was different. It was like, I get you guys, I see you guys, and we're just gonna be in your home together,
Yeah.
And I think that that's what the message was for me, or what I remember today. And this just felt like a really beautiful message for all of us as human beings, is
But
just
it's
to be
asking
in.
permission to be in somebody else's space.
Absolutely.
It's really what it is, isn't it? Instead of barging in into other people's lives and everything and saying, this is what you should do. This, I think you should do this. I think you should do that.
Well, it's easy to give advice, eh? But it's difficult, I believe.
To take it.
It is, okay. But when we ask permission, like, do you mind if I suggest something? And this has been a big part of my learning when I'm just socializing. Do you mind? Because I get the messages and whatever. Do you mind? Is it okay? And then we get the yes or no. But some of us sometimes don't want the guidance or the advice or the suggestion. We have the right to say no, not right now, but we're not taught that, hey?
But do you see, it's just a matter of education. It's like when we were in Egypt, and Shihira said, before you enter the temple or before you enter these doorways or these columns, ask permission
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then wait to receive it. And then when it's a yes, then you say thank you.
yeah,
And then ask them if they have a message for you.
yeah,
When they give you a message, then you say thank you. So it's basically spiritual manners.
yeah,
Like, are you going to be a welcome guest, or are you they're never going to want to see you again?
yeah.
So how you behave is when you are welcomed.
So true, hey. I
Hey,
know, but
it's
that's like
simple, isn't it?
it is simple, but you see, the way I've been conditioned, I almost want to say that's a double-edged sword, because this is where belief and conditioning comes into it as us as human beings, because as you know, me as well, I've come into your home and I'd like to think I've been respectful, but there's times that I haven't been respectful. But when I haven't been respectful, it's like, shit, I catch myself very quickly. And I think, reel it back in, Michelle, reel it back in, because my mom's always taught me, you be respectful when you go into other people's homes. And it's interesting because I would have thought prior to moving to this country, to New Zealand, that it was disrespectful to put my feet on somebody else's couch, because that's the way I was taught, that's the way I was conditioned. But coming to this country, it's not disrespectful. It's like the who says, and again, I'm thinking of my sister-in-law in Israel. We were taught to put your knife and fork together on a plate after you finish eating. My sister-in-law always used to put her knife and fork like this, and my dad would say, "Put your knife and fork together." And she said, she said, "Well, who says that's the right way?" Which is true. That's her truth.
Yes.
Our truth and our version of our truth is to put your knife and fork together, or to not put your feet on the couch. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So do you see, it's all variable, I think. It's all varied in what is it we're wanting? What's our perception of what we're wanting for ourselves? And again, ask permission.
And also, is it harming somebody else, your actions?
Yeah.
Are your
It's,
actions actually harming somebody?
yes,
It's like first do no harm.
I know.
And maybe if you just ask yourself that, because I've definitely done harm along in my life when I was very unaware. And it's like a process of having to learn when I'd love to say, blah, 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 and then I've got to learn to just zip
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, that segment of the orange was a great one, because if you think of it, they all got little juicy parts of them inside the
Mm.
orange. But for me, that's also part of the learning of how we are learning as human beings. And we're not all, I don't believe we'll get it, I won't get it 100% right until the day that I take my last breath. But my understanding of where I'm at in my life is the tweaking. It's kind of like the tweaking, like, shit, I've still got things, I've still got a lot to work on. But I noticed that. I noticed that about, that's the part I don't like, or that's the part that I've suppressed. And that's again like the juiciness of the orange. So it is the way I'm seeing life, and I see a huge amount of people who are most certainly brave and courageous, that are going, I need to do more work on myself.
Mm.
For me, it's the most absolute honoring when somebody books in for a session with me, because I'm like, shit, man, how can I walk with them on their journey? What else are they wanting to learn? What else are they
They
wanting
think they're
to...
worth it to invest in themselves.
Yes, I didn't think of it like
Hey,
that.
the value of self.
Yes,
When you
yes,
have to
so
put your hand
true,
up and go, you know what, I need help. So if
so
you need
true.
help to go to a doctor, why don't you then go to all the other places like the gym, or a person who can help you emotionally, so that you then start getting the balance?
Well, in my experience, it's always easier to do the outside work first. Go to the gym, look at the eating. The emotions is the challenging part
Well,
for a
that's
lot of
hard work.
people. Yes, that's the
But
hard
then you're going to look
work.
at yourself.
Yes. And it's interesting because even though we look at ourselves at the gym, we look at ourselves like, check, this is my nana's arm, this is my mom's arm, okay?
No, that's your arm.
It's my arm, I know, but this is the freaking. I used to look at this as a little girl and go, damn it, I don't want that. But hey, I'm going to go to gym and I'm going to get it strong. Watch me pump some iron. But it's interesting because we still got to look at ourselves in a different way, and as a different version of ourselves.
Yeah.
But when we dive deep into the emotion side, that's when the energy inside of us starts to shift. And we start to become more uplifted. We start to become more fulfilled. You and I were talking about lack of sleep earlier on. And it's so important. But I know that even though I can get incredibly tired because there's nights that I'm not sleeping, I still wake up feeling lighter in my body. I take a while to wake up, as you well know, okay? Like I'm just like, just give me a few minutes, okay? But we feel lighter in ourselves, don't we? That for me is truth. That for me is this space of, okay, every day is different. Every day there's something unique, something spectacular, something amazing. Like I got caught up, what you guys don't know. I thought Jill and I are chatting today. So she's like, are we doing a session? I was like, what? We're doing a session. Even though she had texted me and said, we're doing a session. I read it, but all I saw was the last part of the conversation. The last part of the text was, and then we can chat. And I was like, chat, yes, I'm chatting to Jelly. 2 hours later, she's like, are we doing a session? I'm like, what? So you see, as Brent always says to me, Ban, what's the context? Tell me, give me the context. I'm like, huh? But it's what we contextualize. It's fascinating, eh?
Oh, it's so interesting.
It is.
So, chaps, I know that Michelle wishes you the most incredible year ahead. I certainly do. What would you like to say?
Be you. Do you. There's no time like the present moment to show up in your authentic self. And the more authentic you are, the more love you will feel for yourself. And yes, you're going to slip. You're going to have moments. I have moments. I had. They were talking about this today. But I had a moment yesterday where I was freaking pissed off, man, because a man didn't notice me and greet me in the way that I'd hoped to be greeted. And I just blurted out. But I lost myself in that. Not good, not bad, just is. But I walked away thinking, that's not the true version of who I am. So I was like, Michelle, I blurted out. And my point being is that the more we learn that, instead of just blurting out, instead of in learning to just be in the truth of who we are and be in our heart space, be in a space of compassion, of kindness, because that's the lingering of our authenticity. I hope that makes sense. But be
Yeah,
you.
instead of like observing and go, oh, he greeted the guy next to me. He didn't greet me. He can see me here. He's obviously got a problem.
Yes, but
Maybe
that
he's
would
got
be.
the total hots for you and he just gets embarrassed. He ignores you.
I doubt it because I'm always chirping him.
But that's a
But
better
it's a
way to look at it.
possibility. Yeah, but it's not even about him. It was about me.
Yeah, that's what it is always
Yeah.
about us.
Yeah. It was, it was the noticing in the moment. But having said that, the person I was speaking to we were talking about him being angry. And I think that somewhere I just aligned with that. And I was like, there was a firing squad that came out. And I call it the knee-jerk reaction. I don't like myself when I'm having that knee-jerk reaction because I lose myself. I lose being authentic in my true self, in my unconditionally loving, kind, compassionate
Yeah, in the person that you
space.
want to be.
Yes.
And
That I
not,
am, that
you
I
don't want to be
am.
that old.
Yes, yes. But we are that, Julie. We are not wanting to be. I'm not wanting to be that. I am that. I just forgot in that moment who I am.
And that's when I get disappointed with myself.
Sure.
When I know I could do better. And then I let myself down.
Yes.
And I go, damn it.
Yes. But that's authentic and that's taking responsibility. That's owning ourselves in that moment and saying, because I was going to say not many people, but that's not true. There's many people who may not even acknowledge at that moment of just being like, oh, well, I was a bit of an arsehole. Damn it. Shit. I knew it inside of me in that very moment. I was like, I lost myself.
Yeah.
Why was I so arrogant in that moment?
And it's so annoying because you think you've done all this work and you're getting there. It's like the snakes and ladders. Like you've just got up the damn ladder. And then you come sliding down again, swallowed by the snake.
Like being like a turtle on your back and like,
Yeah,
like somebody roll me over, You're kicking and
you're
kicking.
walking again.
I know.
Damn
And you? What's your message, Jenny? What's your message?
I think that this year's going to be fabulous. And I think it's time to own yourself and to realize, I think what I've really realized, even though it's such a few days into this year, is that I've always thought of myself as human because I'm having this human experience. But we're not a human. We're a spirit. We've got this most magnificent shining light, and it's just a slither of a human. And so we always think, oh, we're not enough. We this, we that. We compare ourselves to everybody else. But man, imagine all those people that you don't even know that are comparing themselves to you, right? And I mean, it's not a competition, but you know, humanity, they're so competitive.
Mm.
So I think it's time to give ourselves a little bit of slack
Mm.
and to say, yes, okay, I'm not so disciplined. Yes, I want to lose 5 kilos or 10 pounds or whatever, but I damn enjoy chocolate and a piece of good cake.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, you've got to make peace with yourself and you've got to stop bluffing and you've got to say, I am going to eat the cake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have the chocolate until it gets to a stage that it's making me so miserable that I decide to change. But I'm going to change for me,
Yes.
not because somebody else says,
Mm.
starting to put it on a few pounds, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Don't do it for anybody else. Do it about how it makes you feel.
Mm.
So to me, 2024 is about feelings. Follow your feelings, follow your gut, and just be the best fun you can be for yourself.
Wonderful. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it, love it, love it.
It's
Love
going
it,
to
Jenny.
be fun this year. I just know it. I can feel it in my bones.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a champagne bottle. It's going chuk, 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 and it's just going to burst open, and that's going to be us.
Yes.
Just bubbling over.
Yes. And I agree. And we're going to be like effervescent, hey?
Yeah.
So watch out, world. And I'm so grateful that you called this today because I've missed it. I've absolutely missed it. And it's
Oh,
just wonderful to be here.
and we have to thank Starling
Why Starlink?
because we didn't have any glitches.
Oh,
We had no frozen moments. My heart nearly sank when you just stopped talking. And I thought, shit, I've changed to Starlink. You're not supposed to freeze anymore. Then you went, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going, oh, thank God, she was being quiet on purpose. It wasn't a glitch.
you see how we misunderstand information, hey?
Yeah.
We like immediately on.
Yeah, exactly. I was on.
Yeah, funny.
So thanks for your
Thank
time.
you.
That was just
Thank you,
lovely.
Julie. Thank you, you too. What a pleasure. I've spent the whole afternoon with Jill, guys, going into the early evening.
I know.
Woohoo! I'm not tired. Time for dinner. Love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the love and support. And we're back. And watch this space. We've got some interesting stuff coming up, some awesome stuff coming up, some meetings around the world, some workshops. Watch this space. We're coming back pretty soon with some more
Yes,
information.
we're going to let you know pretty soon. We've just got to get our act together.
Yes,
But
which
we're
we
in the
are.
process. We're in the
Yes,
process.
exactly.
You don't know
exactly.
what we've been doing in the background.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Thank you for being here today.
Lots of love. Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Cheers.
Julie. Bye.
Cheers.